Welcome to the Small Town Big Dreams podcast. My name is Becky Waples, and this is the podcast that celebrates small town creators and shares their stories. A creator to me could be an entrepreneur, someone with a side hustle, a person with a passion project, even a social media guru, or anybody else who has taken their goal and is crushing it. From their background to where they found the courage, from their challenges to their wins, to where they find inspiration and how they took their first step, I cannot wait to chat and laugh about anything and everything that comes with creating something from scratch. If you are inspired by small town creators who turn their big dreams into reality, then this is the podcast for you. Please subscribe to hear all upcoming podcasts, follow me on Instagram, and leave a review or comment so I know what you want to hear and what creators inspire you. Let's grow together. Hey everybody, here's an early Christmas present from me to you, which is Monday's episode a little early. Today's episode is with Leah Van Dolder, a mindset and weight loss coach from Grey County, and she has some really great tips on how to survive the holiday overeating season. So I thought I'd post it a bit early on Saturday so that you could learn a little bit before, well, it's probably starting today, but before Christmas comes. I also want to say a quick thank you for all of my listeners of my 2023 season, and I can't believe how fun it's been and how successful it's been, and I'm so happy that you've all been along for the ride. 2024, I'm going to start a new season, and I have lots of exciting guests that we get to learn from and interview, and I hope everyone has the best holidays, and I will see you in the new year. All right. So thank you, Leah, for joining me today. Like we just said, it's nice to put a face to the name. We've been texting back and forth, and I apologize that we didn't get to go through it last week. I feel like with sick kids, I'm constantly rescheduling interviews, so I appreciate that we got to join this morning.
Of course. It's life, right? You gotta just roll with the punches.
I'm a roll with the punches type girl too. You found me actually on Instagram, I think. Or I think I might have found you. Somehow we got connected on Instagram.
Yeah, we did. I know I can't remember how that worked out. But I mean, living here in Collingwood is a small town. I feel like everybody knows everybody. And yeah, it was great to connect with you. And I'm just really excited to be chatting openly about this stuff today.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been listening to your podcast pretty regularly since it's connected. Yeah, I go through them. I'm like, what should I learn about today? Like I've listened to all your most recent episodes, but I still like to go through them. And I listened to your holidays one yesterday. I listened to your one on alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
On your 7 steps, 7 things you would never do.
Yes. People love that. The stuff that I would never do.
Yeah.
Anytime we see something that's like, shouldn't do this or never do this, we're drawn to those titles.
Yeah. You're good at the titles. Yeah, I need to work on that too. But we should get started because we're just going to have a quick one today.
Yeah.
Leah, can you share with us what you do?
Yeah. So I am a registered dietitian by training. So I've been a dietitian for a decade, and I started in weight loss. So I specialize in sustainable weight loss for busy, on-the-go people. And along that journey, I have learned that mindset is a big piece in that, because changing your behavior is hard, because really that's what you're doing. Like when clients come to me, they are at a place where they're like, hey, I need a big change. I need to radically change the way that I'm eating, living, my fitness, because I want to be a healthy, happy, vibrant version of myself. And that can be challenging because when we change our behaviors, a lot of emotional stuff comes up. So I found very quickly as a newbie dietitian that I was having some conversations around nutrition, but a lot of it was getting deeper into, those internal stories and our dialogue and our self-talk. And it's making those changes to the way that you think, how you talk to yourself, and your outlook on things. And that's what I really love about the work that I do, is seeing people's thought process and their internal dialogue change. And I kind of like to say, I see my clients become really good executors versus just having great intentions.
Yeah. I listened to your holiday podcast and you said something like,
you have come too far. You are too strong to be tempted by these apps that are sitting on the table high in calories, high in protein. So not only are you telling me what I should be eating, but you're also saying like, you can do this. It's a big mindset thing.
Yeah. And I've learned that, I wouldn't share anything with you or on my podcast if I didn't have to learn it myself. And, I think that's a big one, nutrition, but also, reminding yourself and like building your character and becoming your own best cheerleader versus being your own worst enemy.
Yes. I find that when it comes to food, I get a lot of invasive thoughts. Like it'll be like,
oh yeah,
I ate healthy all day. I did such a great job. And then something in my brain sabotages me and it's like, you should have chips and dip for a little snack before bed. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And you're like,
totally.
My brain can't be wrong. Like that's part of me. And then you realize, no, like your brain wants dopamine. It's like, give me more, give me more.
Totally. I know.
And when I learned to be like, brain, go away, leave me alone, then I'm like, all right, perfect. All right, no snacks, chips and dip for dinner.
Yeah. And that honestly, like, I don't know about you, Becky, but I feel like that is 90% of the battle is mastering your mindset. Because I find too, and this is something interesting, and like women say flat out to me, they're like, I know what I should and shouldn't be doing, but the follow through can be really tough. And, the sabotaging thoughts, especially at the end of the day, because we do get this thing called decision fatigue where your executive function, like your logical, rational part of your brain has been used all throughout the day. And then come, 9, 10 o'clock, we're absolutely toast. So temptation can be very high and our ability to say no thank you to certain temptations becomes a lot lower at the end of the day. So we're more susceptible to like, giving in at the end of the day.
Do you offer your clients, if someone texts you at 9 o'clock, like, I really want these chips, are you like, girl, you do not want these chips, you are just tired? Are you like on call?
I would say I'm on call, but like working hours, like 8 a.m. to like 6 p.m. Yeah, that's honestly, that's part of the way that I work with my clients because I've learned this too, Becky. What I've learned over years in business is one phone call once a month, like it's not going to help you make big change in your life. So much can happen in 30 days. So much can happen in 3 days. And
24 hours.
Yeah. So much can change in 24 hours. So the way that I work with my clients is providing that daily access to me because you know what, like you need on-the-go coaching for your on-the-go lifestyle and questions and comments and quick wins come up that you want to share. I always say to my clients, I'm like, I'm in your back pocket on this journey and I'm all in with you. So that's how I run my business.
Perfect. What do you offer your clients? Do you have like a smaller package, large packages? You said you're in their back pocket all day, but are there like specific things you offer in packages or your clients?
Yeah. So my signature program is a 6-month coaching program. And this is also something that I've learned about creating big change in your life is that it takes time. It takes time. And, when you're really serious about, well, I'll give you an example of a client of mine. I've been working with her for about 1.5 years. She came to me. She's like, listen, I'm busy. I'm on the go. I want to lose about 30 pounds. I want to feel stronger, more energetic because I want to be able to give my all to my kids. And I also want to go all in on my business and not hold myself back in any way. And I said, all right, this is not a quick fix. Your life didn't change overnight. You didn't gain 30 pounds overnight and it's not going to come off overnight either. So I find that's a big thing when people are, ready to make a change. They're in that long-term mindset already. They're like, I am here to make a lifestyle change. And where I'm going with this is majority of the people that I work with, Becky, we're in it for the long haul. Like I've got clients like 1 year, 2 years, sometimes 3 years. But yeah, my signature package, it's at least 6 months of coaching because you need that time. And science shows us that it takes time to change our habits. And it takes at least 6 up to 12 months to change habits. Habits don't change in 21 days. There's no freaking way that they do.
No.
There's no way.
I can't even do it like for 1 week. But I'm like, if I could just get to 21 days and then I will, and it still won't stick. Like
You're right. You're right. Because it takes longer than 3 weeks to form a habit. It takes months, years, depending on what they are, how like deeply rooted they're in there. So I'd be doing my clients a disservice if I offer just a one-off appointment or, a short-term, say 6-week program. Like you need time to make lasting change in your life.
What motivated you to start your own business rather than doing dietitian for a hospital? Or what made you think I got to do this for myself?
Good question. It's funny. Like so many people have been asking me this lately. I knew in my heart when I was little, I said stuff and I remember saying stuff to myself like, I'm going to be my own boss, like ever since I was a little girl. And I absolutely know that came from my family as well. Like I'm from a family of entrepreneurs. So that's what I knew.
Right.
And I saw the freedom in that. And when I started working in hospital, because of course, I finished my internship and started working in a hospital. I worked in the burn trauma unit for a while. So I was doing enteral feeds. I was doing stuff called TPN where we did IV feeds. And I worked in cardiovascular and then I worked in a bariatric clinic. So I find that it's really valuable to find out what you don't like. Yeah. Like that's just as valuable. Right? You got to try. You got to try things out. And I knew, I'm like, man, this hospital clinical setting, this is not for me. I felt in my heart that I was meant for more. I wasn't fulfilled being there. And I felt a cap on, what I could do, the amount of wealth that I could make or the amount of money that I could make. And I don't like having a cap. I don't like having somebody else telling me what my limitation is.
Right.
I don't stand for that. So I followed through on my vision to own my own business. And I took that leap that was about 3 years ago when I started doing my online thing. And that was my big motivation was I wanted to run my own show because I'm not limited by anybody. I wanted to take sole responsibility for creating the life that I wanted because I know that nobody else is going to do that for me. And I can bet on myself because I'm a safe bet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my motivation.
And there's a lot of mindset behind that too. I like that you said
100%.
Yeah, I like that you said you come from a family of entrepreneurs. I think that when you see it seems when you see other people doing it, you can do it.
Yes. Yeah.
And the Van Dolder name is big. You grew up in your own sound, right?
Yep. Van Annen, where all the Van Dolders are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a mindset coach, you mentioned that you work with, or the lady that you worked with also wanted to go in with her business. And so you would be helping with that too. It wouldn't just be limited to weight loss, I'm guessing.
Correct.
Or
correct. Yeah. I love how you bring that up because it's so true. Nutrition is like scratching the surface. Once I start working with people, once we start getting their nutrition, figured out, it's less about the weight loss and the health outcomes. And it's more about taking care, taking control, and showing up for yourself and following through on the things that you want to do. And when you level up in one area of your life, when women are leveling up in their nutrition and their fitness, they're like, well, hot damn, like I got to keep this thing moving. So they start leveling up in other areas because it's just that that natural progression, that natural evolution. And that's what I love so much about what I do because yes, the conversations may start around eating a protein and fiber-rich breakfast, but after a few months, like I'm having conversations with my clients around having that difficult conversation at work to ask for more money for what they deserve. I'm having conversations with women around how to capitalize on their confidence and, pushing them to do, ultra marathons and say a 5K race or stuff that they wouldn't even dream about doing. I'm having conversations with women about going on week-long trips overseas by themselves. They're like, I would never have done this. The old me would have never done this. So that's what I love seeing is that natural progression of confidence and, It's like, well, if I can do this, like, man, what's next? What am I capable of? Let's keep pushing.
Yes. I love that. You said level up. And you're right. It's like taking control. Did you see what I did here?
100%.
What else can I do?
100%.
And I think having a coach is a huge help because you're not doing it by yourself and you're like a cheerleader. Let's go. Let's do it. You're doing it. Like you could even be like, what's next for you? Like, awesome. Like when you said an ultra marathon, like, yeah, like you start with a 5K. I can't wait to see you do your 10K next month.
Totally.
Or next 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like showing yourself what you're capable of because, Becky, I honestly don't think that people realize what they're capable of and they don't allow themselves or give themselves permission to show what they're freaking made of and what they can accomplish. I find that we're our own limitation 9 times out of 10, and just breaking through and getting over those barriers and those limiting beliefs and those stories, like, oh my gosh, like that's what I absolutely love seeing in people. And like I've had to do that with myself too, is showing yourself who's boss.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Let's move to a little bit because I feel like as a weight loss coach, I have some questions.
Yeah, bring them on.
How can we best prepare ourselves for the holidays?
Oh, good question. Well, I want to talk about your mindset first because change begins in the mind. And if you have the thought process of, oh, it's an indulgent time of year, let's just enjoy everything, and then I'll start again, whatever, January 1st, that's a slippery slope because right there you've given yourself full permission to really not pay attention and to go full bore into the holidays. But what's the consequence of that decision? You feel like garbage, you feel bloated, you feel so far from your goals, and you don't feel very motivated come January. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, looking at the mindset of, well, I'll give you an example from a client yesterday. She's like, it feels so much better going into this year's holidays with the headspace of, I'm not here to restrict. I am here to, enjoy my favorites, but also make very conscious decisions around how much I'm, indulging, but also making good and nourishing choices throughout the day, continuing to move my body for enjoyment, and also not making this season all about food.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I know has a big impact on behaviors throughout the holiday season.
Yeah. You made a good point there. If you do overindulge, you'll feel unmotivated in the new year because you're right, you're bloated, you feel like crap, and making those good choices, I just think your motivation will be even higher when the new year comes.
100%, because motivation follows action. Motivation is a byproduct.
Yeah, and you had you said the 3 C's, which was change.
Yeah, so the 3 C's of mastering your mindset. So capture your thinking, your mindset, and challenge it, and then create a new one.
Okay, yeah. That's what I picture when I say, like, I have intrusive thoughts. You're like, okay, that's what that was. That was an intrusive thought. You captured it. Now let's create a new thought.
Yeah. Replace. Yeah. Capture, replace. Yeah. So that's a big one coming into the holidays. So mindset's big. And of course, strategy. Good old nutrition strategy is a big one too. I'm all about setting you up for success. And I find the most underrated tip to do well throughout the holiday season is giving your body nourishing food first. Because the biggest challenge is all the goodies everywhere. All the finger foods, all the cheese trays, all the extra cookies and stuff that are around the office, at the house, whatever. But I find that the biggest pitfall that we have is thinking that, oh, well, if it's an overindulgence or if I want to enjoy those cookies and all that, well, then I better skimp out during the day because I know that that's going to be like high calorie. But that's the wrong way to think about it. Instead, you want to think, okay, nourishing food first. So, have your egg and vegetable omelet in the morning with some salsa on top and a piece of fruit. Get your protein, get your fiber. Have chicken and rice with vegetable soup at lunch. That way, you're not going to feel as tempted by all the indulgent food because you've given your body what it needs. One of my clients, new client, she's on the West Coast, and she's like, what is this wizardry? She's like, I don't even want the afternoon cookies and quality street chocolates that somebody brought in because I've had a breakfast, a lunch, and I am drinking water throughout the day. Like, who friggin' knew?
I'm not hungry. And yeah, like you're not tempted. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's such a simple strategy, but it's so powerful and so effective. So that's a big one. I call it your pregame or front loading your day.
Well, that's awesome. I know we got to finish up here soon. So let's do my quick rapid fire round. And
sounds fun.
I know I like doing this one with people a little more healthy than me, so I can know what I should be picking to. So would you rather have a personal chef or a personal trainer?
Oh, that's a good one. You know what? I would rather have a personal chef because I do not like to cook.
You can just like, here, this is what I'm having. Thank you.
Yeah.
Probably pick something a little bit more fancy too. Like you said, veggie omelet. And I was like, oh man, I put I used to put mushrooms in my omelets, but I could have had peppers, onions.
Totally.
Spinach. What's better, working out in the morning or at night?
Oh, working out in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather do a dance party workout or would you rather do like a soothing yoga meditative workout?
Dance party all day long.
Good, me too. Would you rather walk in the forest or swim in the lake?
That one's very hard for me because I want to do both.
I was gonna say, you live in Collingwood.
Yeah, you can't do Georgian Bay.
Yeah. What's your favorite workout song?
You know what? I'm loving Missy Elliott these days, bringing back the oldies from Missy Elliott.
What are 3 non-negotiables we should do every day?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you mine. My 3 non-negotiables: moving my body at least 45 minutes to an hour daily. That could be through walking. That could be through a planned exercise. I move my body for an hour every day. Getting 2 liters of water. Yep. And my third non-negotiable for me is my morning routine. I take time every day to read something about personal development, personal growth, because I said before, change begins in the mind. And if you want to get to where you want to go, then you got to start thinking differently and acting differently. And those are 3 non-negotiables: movement, hydration, personal development every day, Saturday and Sunday included.
Okay. And what is a book that you always recommend?
Oh, I love the book Chop Wood, Carry Water.
Okay.
It's by Malcolm Gladwell, I believe, and it's a beautiful book around what's it called? It's the falling in love with the process of becoming great. Chop wood, carry water. It's all about patience. It's all about surrendering the outcomes that you want and really falling in love with the process of who you want to be. So I love it. I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. Thank you for joining me today. Where can we find you? How do we find you? How do we sign up for your services?
Yeah, so a couple of ways. Instagram, I'm on there every day. So my handle is Leah Van Dolder. My website is leahvandolder.com, and follow along on the podcast. So it's called the Reclaim Podcast. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio.
And I really like your podcast. It's they're like 20 minutes, quick and easy, so much information in each one too.
Thank you so much. Well, I appreciate you listening in, and it's been so good and a lot of fun to be here today. So thank you. I really enjoyed this. You're a great host.
Are you ready to live kindly, confidently, and ridiculously happy? Me too. I'm Sophia Lemon, and I host Ridiculously Happy Peoplecast. Once a week, I sit down with an awesome person I want to learn from, and we talk about how in the heck to balance life. Throw on your sweats and prepare to laugh, cry, and even cringe as we talk about all the bullshit that comes along with living ridiculously happy. Subscribe to Ridiculously Happy Peoplecast, and that's PPL Cast, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you find your podcasts, and get your shit together with us.